So ENCA's Liranzo Themba has been following this case and joins me now from from here in the studio. Liranzo, it's all pretty dramatic, right? I mean, this is the person who at one point, in the not so distant past, was at the helm of law enforcement. Today you are sitting in the dock. What are police saying and prosecutors about the case against Khomotso Phahlane?
I think what was quite spectacular about this bill application was the fact that we heard more than what we came for. In the statement that he gave to court to basically get him out on bail, he indicated and gave lots of allegations, explosive, scathing allegations to us, mainly around the fact that Robert McBride is basically at the helm of this humiliating experience. He goes on in his affidavit to say that he believes it's just McBride's way of trying to bolster his good guy image. He also is quite suspect of the timing of these charges and the arrest, saying that he believes it's McBride's, last kick of the dying horse, and he is even accusing McBride of being corrupt, saying that's one of the reasons why his term is not being renewed as the IPID boss.
Sure. So in Khomotso Phahlane's eyes and in his view, this is all about a crusade of sorts that Robert McBride is waging. And of course, this is all linked to the fact that Robert McBride's contract as head of IPID expired yesterday.
Yeah, he's also convinced that there's a witch hunt that Paul Sullivan, that we've heard, as well as McBride, who are basically trying to find something on him. He's also, in a statement, was quite scathing at the media presence that was there to us. Of course, I must indicate, and I've indicated throughout the day, that there was quite a lot of media attention on the story, and of course, why not?
Naturally, yes. I mean, this is the former police commissioner.
Absolutely, and not just the one, but, a series of police commissioners that have found themselves in hot water.
Yeah.
But this police commissioner is in quite a space. I mean, it is the second time that he is in the dock. He doesn't believe that there's a charge or any charge that's going to stick. But unfortunately, he's going to have to prove the case because he's expected to come back on the 29th of March.
Yeah. What is the case in as far as the state is concerned? We've heard his side of the story, that he believes this is a vendetta and a crusade by people such as Robert McBride. But what is the state accusing Khomotso Phahlane of here?
I think we need to just backtrack a bit and just go back into the archives. So in November last year, we know that the former Gauteng provincial commissioner, Deliwe Delanga, was arrested for a similar charge, in fact, for the same charge, for the same case. And it was her as well as other officials and a service provider that had to really a case to answer to, also pertaining to fraud and corruption charges. Now, this relates to the installation of blue lights, as we know it, the sirens that we see on police vans, on police vehicles. Now, it is also reported, and the IPID has confirmed this, that this tender was issued despite this particular company not meeting all the requirements. We understand that they don't have a tax clearance certificate. There was some sort of forgery involved in one of these officials that have been arrested, who even went as far as getting and obtaining a clearance certificate a year after this tender was issued. So this is what IPID has been investigating. They're saying that it's because of the fact that they're now putting the dots together, that they are, getting more people who are, for their alleged role in this tender, and that's the reasons why McBride, or rather Phahlane, is arrested now and wasn't arrested alongside with the other 5 in November.
Sure, this is all very interesting, and it's important to distinguish that this is separate from that other case, right, which related to vehicles and allegations that they obtained vehicles,
yeah.
He and his wife. Who else did you hear from after the court proceedings concluded?
Well, we also spoke to IPID. Of course, we had to. There's so many allegations, not only just to McBride, but I think the institution, as to, is it true what Phahlane is alleging? Is it true that you're trying to really cover or rather bolster his image to become this crusader of fighting corruption? Let's take a listen to what Moses Lamini told us.
McBride is gone. He's no longer the head of IPID. This investigation started early on in 2018. In November, we arrested 5 suspects. And as we investigated, the investigation pointed us to other suspects who were arrested today. So it really has nothing to do with making McBride look good. It's an investigation. We applied for warrants of arrest. We submitted a docket for perusal by the prosecutors. And based on the evidence that they were able to see, they decided who should be brought before a court. So the allegations are baseless.
It seems that position of police commissioner is a poisoned chalice. I mean, if you think about the number of former police commissioners, starting perhaps from Jackie Selebi, you had Ria Piecha also facing some difficulties, particularly around the Marikana situation, and now Khomotso Phahlane.
Yeah, but I think with this police, or rather former top cop, he believes that there's a witch hunt against him. He believes that, investigators have a vendetta against him. I mean, going as far as saying that McBride is going all out to make sure that he gets something on him. So, well, I guess the courts are going to have to decide whether or not that is the case. We know that his initial court case was withdrawn, the one that you were referring to earlier on, that was withdrawn in June 2018. So with these fresh charges, only time will tell if they will stick, and indeed we are going to see this police commissioner behind bars.
Yeah. So when is it back in court, Liranzo, and who are the other people that he's been arrested with? I mean, I see we're reporting that there's also another top cop. Who is this top cop?
So 7, that's the number, right? 7 is the number of suspects that have been charged with regards to this multi-million rand blue light tender. And of course, just to highlight the big players, I guess, as I did mention, it is a service provider that provided this all-important tender. But also it is the former Gauteng Commissioner Deliwe Delanga, who has resigned, we understand, of course, following a slew of allegations against her. But also we know that now Phahlane has joined the list as suspect number 6, or accused number 6. And the head of procurement, Major General Ravi Pillay, he was in the dock with Phahlane today. And, with his statement and in his bail application, it was quite simple, saying that, he does not plan to evade the country. He can only afford 20,000 rand, and he is a first-time offender. So both of them have been granted 20,000 rand bail each, and they are back on the 29th of March. And that is the same court date as the other 5 that I've just mentioned.
Sure. All right. Liranzo Temba, thank you so much for that detailed reporting on that particular case.